I Am Elemental is running their annual Childhood Cancer Awareness campaign. All through the month of September, with the purchase of one Courage action figure, one will also be donated to a child fighting cancer. Courage is a 6.5-inch action figure with 30-plus points of articulation. Molded in durable plastic, she comes with a removable helmet, chest armor, flaming energy sword, and her Courage shield. Order yours today at IAMELEMENTAL.com and give one to a child fighting cancer at the same time. Link in the description below. Order yours today and change a child's life. Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. As I'm sure you've noticed, that before every video this month, I have put up an endorsement for the I Am Elemental Courage 6.5-inch action figure. And that is because that for every figure you purchase, they donate one to a child fighting cancer, and that's just fantastic. I've ordered mine, so I thought we would take a look at it today, so you'll see what you'll be getting when you order yours. And the first thing I want to say is that as far as the shipping goes, it was really fast. This came like within 2 days after I placed my order, so you can't fight that. Also, the shipping is free for this figure because they have free shipping for a purchase of $25 or more. This is a $25 figure. You get free shipping, and it got to me within 2 days. So you can't go wrong with that. Now, taking a look at the packaging, we have a standard white box, the name of the figure up top, the Core Power Series, I Am Elemental 6.5-inch articulated action figure. Now, I Am Elemental's gimmick, I guess you could say, is that each figure represents a different superpower. And you have courage, bravery, energy, honesty, industry, enthusiasm, persistence, and fear. And that's just a few that they have. When we flip it around on back, you'll see that there's more to this. And I really like the aesthetic that they have. I really like the design and the look of them. It's really interesting, it's really different, and I really like that. Up top, we have the I Am Elemental logo. On the side, just more window. Obviously here we have a big window so you can see what you're getting. On this side we have a window and you can see the accessories of her Courage shield and her flaming sword. And then on the back, this is kind of a cool touch that they actually show you the back of the figure. So that like when you're looking at it here and you see what's up front, when you look at the back of the box, you can see what else you're getting. And it says includes Courage 6.5-inch action figure, chest armor, shoulder armor, metallic sword, sword flames, elemental shield, removable helmet, element book, and Courage trading card. And I'm not exactly sure what the element book is, so we'll have to take a look at that. And inspired by Joan of Arc because real heroes walk among us. I think they mean like her armor is inspired by Joan of Arc. And then on the bottom here, this is what I mean, that like we have more of the I Am Elemental figures in the line. And these look really, really cool. I think this one here is Fear. And this one, I forget what the name of this one is. But I would love, these are all 3 3/4-inch figures. I would love to get this in a 6-inch figure. I am all about anything, any humanoid figure with wings. This would be really, really cool. If you go to I Am Elemental's webpage, linked below, you can see all of the ones that they have. And they have some really, really interesting ones. They have one that like has this big tentacle arm that would be cool in a 6.5-inch figure. I really like these figures. I just don't, I can't start collecting 3 3/4 figures. I have nothing that they would match up with, and I just can't. I can't. On the bottom, we have legalese and barcode. So, with that out of the way, let's get this box open, and let's take a look at I Am Elemental Courage. Okay, before we get to the figure, once more with packaging, I just wanted to show you that once you pull the lid off, you have a side slip in here that has the accessories, and then you have the tray with the figure in it. I just wanted to show you that you have this front tray right here, and then the figure just comes out. So this is actually very collector friendly, that if you wanted to pull her out, play around with her, and then put her back and store her in the packaging, you can do that, because then also this just slides right out. So this is very collector friendly packaging as well. All right, here she is, Courage, out of the box, and putting the tape measure to her, we can see that she is, in fact, 6.5 inches tall to the top of her head, roughly 6 3/4 to the top of her helmet. Now bringing her up close, we're going to take a look at the paint app and the sculpt, both of which, quite honestly, are very basic, but that is a design choice for this line of figures. If you go to IM Elemental's website and you take a look at the other figures, or if we even take a look at the figures in the booklet that came with it, which we will do in a minute, you'll see that this is very much a design choice for this line. It makes it perfect that they can fit into pretty much any sci-fi, fantasy, superhero type line, that they can be used to pad out pretty much any line that you would want, especially since right now this is the only figure we have at this scale from this line. Now, I do really like the metallics that they use in this figure, how the breastplate, the bicep guards, the arm bracer here, and on this side, the leg guards down to her armored shoes right here. I like how that all is a metallic gray, a sort of gunmetal gray, while the shoulder pauldrons, the helmet, the shield, and the sword, which we'll take a look at, are very much a silver metallic. And I even like this touch of purple that they have going on this shoulder fin here. That's really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. Basically predominantly red, a little bit of crimson at the waist right here, and at the shin pads you have your blue in there for a touch of color, and then you have, like I said, some purple accenting the armor and even outlining these shin guards here. I really dig that. And another little touch of blue right here on this piece, which this slot is for holding the shield, and we'll take a look at that in a moment. She has the elbow pads, and I like how the sword-wielding hand has a full gauntlet, and then the shield-holding hand is more of a cloth glove. I like that touch, that the sword-holding hand is a little bit more beefy in armor-wise than the shield-holding hand is. And I don't know if on all of these figures, if that's supposed to be like a domino mask that they're wearing, or if that's supposed to be like part of the aesthetic of whatever this race is. I'm betting it's up to you to decide, just by going on like what the mission statement and what the backstory for a lot of these for this line is. So taking a look at the articulation, the head can turn from side to side. It can't do a full 360 spin for two reasons, mainly because of the shoulder pads and the hair. But you do get some side to side going, and some really good like over the shoulder, I'm going to kick your butt looks. Now, she can't tilt back because of all this hair and the helmet. She can kind of look down a little bit, and there's really not much in the side-to-side tilt. Just a little bit, but not much. Now, the arms. The arms will do a full 360 spin, and you can see that these shoulder pads do rise up out of the way, but you still have to get the arm sort of out to the side to get it to do a full spin, like so. There is a butterfly joint right there, which I appreciate. I always love a good butterfly joint. And then the arms will come up way past 90. There is a bicep swivel. There is a double jointed elbow with some really great travel right there. And then she has those swivel hinge, swivel wrists that I absolutely love, that the wrists will spin and then they'll go up and down, or you can do this and you can do that, and then they'll go in and out. And I think that's fantastic, especially for a figure that has sword and shield, melee weapons. I really appreciate that. Now, let's get her arms up out of the way. That she has an ab cut here underneath the armor that she can crunch back. She can crunch forward. She has some side to side, but unfortunately there's no twist at the waist. And then she has a bit of a, I don't want to call it a ball joint, but it's kind of like a rocker joint that she can really get it going side to side. And then using both of those, she can really crunch back and she can really crunch forward. But once again, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot to the waist twist. You can go there and you can go there, and that's about it. And I feel like if this was not a hard plastic, if they had made like a rubber piece here, sort of like how McFarlane does, you'd be able to get more of a twist out of it. I don't know. That's just me. But going on, we have the legs will go up. The legs will go back. Oop, the legs will go back. The legs can come out to the side, almost to 90. Double jointed knees, once again, with some really decent travel to them. Thigh cut. Now, one thing I wanted to say about the thigh cut, when I first got these out, or I'm sorry, when I first got her out, the thighs were like really stiff and I was worried I was going to break it. But if you turn it, you'll hear sort of like a pop and then it moves easily on its own. I don't know if it was like painted into place or whatever, but once I got them loosened up, they pivot perfectly well. And then there's no boot cut, but the ankle does rotate. Okay, there's also ankle rocks back, ankle rocks forward, and forward facing pin for some rocker. Now, taking a look at accessories, we're going to start with her helmet because the helmet does come off. If you just pull up on it from behind, it comes off very easily. And you can see her three tails coming down. You can see some really good sculpt work in the hair. It looks like they segmented the hair when they glued it in place, that it's not just one big mold. And the only thing I can think is they did that to keep it thin, to keep it narrow. So the helmet, which is really cool, by the way. So the helmet wouldn't be an oversized helmet and it would fit easily on. You can even see on the inside of the helmet here how it's sort of molded to the strands of her hair so that it gets a perfect fit on there. And it looks great. Like, it actually looks like it's molded into her head. It fits so well. We also have her Courage shield here, which is a standard sort of kite type shield, with her element up here, Courage, and then the I am element symbol down here. Single handle on the back so that she can hold on to it. You can see it just pops easily. Pops easily into her hand. And she has a decent grip on that. Like so. And then, as I said, if you don't want it in her hand, this piece down here, or this slot right here, you can fit the handle in, and the shield just tucks perfectly onto her thigh right there for storage. And I think that's cool. I always like it whenever a figure can store one of their accessories, one or more of their accessories on them, and I really dig that. And now we have her flaming sword, and the flame effects are molded into the sword, so you can't remove them. And that's a minor nitpick that I have, that I wish the flame effects could come off, so then you could have like a powered down version of her sword, and then a powered up version of her sword when she's ready for action. But I do like the sculpt and the mold of this sword. I like the detail they put in the blade. I like this little red gem that she has down here in the cross piece. I like this really bright silver plastic that the sword is molded in. And you can even see that the handle down here is actually shaped to fit into her hand, which is really good because we'll take a look at that in a second. The flame effects, they are kind of a translucent plastic, but they're a little murky. So it's not like a true translucent like what we're used to. That you can put a light through them, but it's not going to have that same effect that we're used to. But I do like the look of the flame effects because when it's in her hand, as a matter of fact, let's just put it in her hand. That, first of all, taking a look at her hand, you can see that she kind of has this trigger finger right here. That's so that it fits into the hilt of her sword. Voila. And then she has a really good grip on it. Okay. Now, with the way that these flame effects are, and with as pliable, as posable as her wrist joints are, you can sort of make it look like the flames are covering both the sword and her. Like the sword and her have become one. I really dig that. It's kind of like that same effect that they were going for with the Gore the God Butcher figure that Hasbro came out with. But this, you can just pop it into her hand. Like I said, it molds right into her hand. Now, her hands are small, and it does take a little bit, especially if you have big fingers like me. It does take a little bit of practice, a little bit of patience to get it in there the first time. But once you find the sweet spot to get it in there and just twist it in, you're good to go. And with those swivel hinge swivel wrists, she can really get some forward thrusting poses with the sword. And I really like this sword. I like how it has that same shiny metal look that her helmet and her shoulder pauldrons have, because it kind of ties the whole thing together. If I would have had one difference to this, the coloring wise, I would have made that purple just to go with the rest of the purple accents of her armor. But other than that, that's a minor nitpick, and that's a very personal preference right there. But I do really like the look of it when it's in her hand. And then she has her collector card right here that has a really good shot of the figure in action. And it says, Courage has the mental strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger or difficulty. She has the ability to fuse bravery, energy, honesty, industry, enthusiasm, persistence, and fear together. Play with power. And then on the flip side, we actually have a picture of Joan of Arc. And this is cool because you can see whenever they said inspired by Joan of Arc, if you take a look at the armor, especially the helmet here, you can see where that inspiration comes from. The way that the helmet sort of sweeps down the back of her neck and the smooth plating. That's really cool. And then finally, we have the Elements of Power element book with the Series 1 Courage. And this is what I mean by this is the aesthetic of the line. If we take a look at these are all 3.5 inch or 3 3/4 inch figures. Keep that in mind. But imagine if they made 6-inch figures out of some of these, like Energy right here with the flame effects coming up off of her shoulders, coming up off of her body, and then Honesty over here with the wings. These would be so cool as larger figures. I mean, then we have Courage here, we have Bravery over here, and then on the back, Joan of Arc, and then we have Fear, and I don't know what that is in her hand, but that looks cool. This would be a cool one to have as well. All of these would be great. Persistence, enthusiasm, totally looking like she should have a skateboard. But all of these look great. Industry. These would be fantastic to have in any line to like pad it out. I love the aesthetic. I love the colors. I love the look of all of these figures. Especially, like I said, these two right here. I would absolutely love to have these two in a 6.5 inch figure. And now for size comparisons, here she is with Hasbro Marvel Legends, Captain Marvel, and Binary. Here she is with NECA Toys Original Superheroes, Flash Gordon, and Ming the Merciless, and she would totally fit in with the Flash Gordon setting. Here she is with McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, John Stewart, Green Lantern, and Last Night on Earth, Wonder Woman wearing the Helmet of Fate, because, come on, these two look great together. Here she is with Lanyard Toys, City Hunter Predator, and Xenomorph Drone. Here she is with Jazzwares, Spartan Collection, Master Chief, and Noble 6. Here she is with Mattel Masterverse, New Eternia, He-Man, and Skeletor, and quite honestly, it's kind of impressive how well she stands up between these two. She doesn't have the bulk, but she definitely has the size that she could be added into this line. And finally, here she is with the Hasbro Marvel Legends Black Widow movie series Black Widow and Me from the Valaverse Action Force Steel Brigade. You buy this figure and you give one to a child fighting cancer. What else do you want me to say about that, guys? As somebody who has seen what cancer can do to somebody, and that was an adult that I watched it tear up, I can only imagine what these kids are going through, and they can use every pick-me-up they could get, especially now heading into the holiday seasons. And yes, I consider Halloween part of the holiday seasons. Now, as far as the figure goes, I think the figure is great. I think it fits into various different lines. You saw how her size matched up with different lines, different figure collections. You can put her in pretty much anything that you would want to put her in. I like all of the articulation she has. She can get some really good poses. It's a very loose, very fluid articulation that you don't really feel like you're fighting the figure when you're trying to get her into poses. If I have one complaint about it, it is that sometimes the articulation is a little too loose. Sometimes when you get her into a pose, especially her legs, she may just sort of fall over. But that very easily could just be a product of my figure, and you won't have that same issue with yours. We all know that every once in a while something like that can happen with an action figure. I like her accessories. I like her sword. If that was another thing that I could change, it would be that the flame effects could come off of the sword. Not that I have a problem with the flame effects. It would just be cool to like have it in a powered down mode and then a powered up mode. But I do like the sword. The shield is very plain, very basic, and I get what the purpose of the shield is. It's just to have the character's name and their power on it, sort of like their symbol. And I like that. I appreciate that. But I always like when a sword-wielding figure especially, comes with a sword or comes with a shield. It drives me crazy when they don't have one. Like that He-Man figure from the Masterverse that we just took a look at. It really screws me up in the head that he doesn't come with a shield. I'm really into this figure. I'm really into the aesthetic of this figure. And I really, really wish that I Am Elemental brings some more of their figures to this 6.5-inch scale. Because also the thing to think about is this gives us a female character to pad out our collections. And female figures, female characters, are something that all of the lines are sorely lacking in. So I hope you enjoyed the look at this figure. It is also worth noting that if you don't want to buy the figure and you just want to donate one to a child, there is the option to just pay $25 and donate one to a kid. I'll put a link to that as well down below. All of this is available on I Am Elemental's webpage, but I'll put direct links to everything that we're talking about down in the description below. I also think it's kind of cool that this figure comes with collector-friendly packaging. I think that was a really nice touch, and it's something that a lot of the big companies often overlook. So as I said, I hope you enjoyed this look at the I Am Elemental Courage action figure. We have more coming down the line, but also I'm heading to RetroCon this weekend, and I am really excited about that. Like, my yearly trip away. You all know how much I look forward to that. You'll be seeing some videos from that. So until that happens, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.